What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the March 23rd, 2024 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. Scott Stanford, Megan Morant in the studio, running down the biggest headlines from Friday's show, including recapping LA Knight getting arrested. They don't really spend a whole lot of time on that, although I did think it was one of the better angles done on Friday's show. They do briefly mention it and show some footage from it. They replay the Io Sky win over Naomi. We hear about Bianca fighting Dakota Kai next week on SmackDown. We hear from Bianca Belair backstage with Kayla Braxton. Bianca says that she saw herself in Naomi when Naomi was getting attacked by Damage Control, getting outnumbered and whatnot, so she went out to go help her on SmackDown. They were once again outnumbered. She said that she had to fight Damage Control herself on her own for 2 years straight, so she wants to help Naomi kind of even the odds a little bit. She thinks Dakota Kai thinks herself, according to Bianca, that she might have something to prove. But for Bianca, she has even more to prove and wanted to get on WrestleMania, which she doesn't mention here. And I think it's weird they've kind of gotten away in recent weeks from Bianca mentioning, "Oh, I got to be at WrestleMania to extend my undefeated streak," and she's made no mention of it in like a month. But anyway, they talk all about that and how she has more to prove, and she will do so by beating Dakota Kai next week one-on-one. Back in the studio, they hype up Jade Cargill's official arrival on SmackDown for next week. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be at the show next week, so I'm looking forward to seeing that in person. They replay the Austin Theory and Grayson Waller tag team win over the OC to qualify them for the next round and the tag team tournament for WrestleMania, to qualify for that tag team title match for WrestleMania, that is. They also hype up next week's qualifiers, which I believe will be Theory and Waller versus the Profits, and then New Catch Republic versus Legado del Fantasma's Angel and Berto. We hear from the Profits, and B-Fab was there too, but she doesn't really speak. I think Bobby might have been there, but he doesn't speak either. It was really just the Profits talking backstage here. Montez Ford mentions they have not held gold in over 3 years, which is crazy to think about because they were tag team champions consistently for like a good year or two, from NXT to then Raw and then SmackDown. And yeah, they've gone over 3 years without holding gold, which is pretty crazy. But he says that in that time, a lot of teams have broken up. The Usos, Trick and Mello, but they have stuck together through their passion, and that is what keeps them together. Dawkins says they've taken a lot of L's and in life. I think it was actually Ford that mentioned that. They've taken a lot of L's in life lately and professionally, but they will bounce back next week, and they are an absolute force to be reckoned with, and no one will stop them. They address Theory and Waller, kind of mentioning they'll win that match next Friday in WrestleMania to get one step closer to qualifying for Mania and competing for the tag team titles on that show. In the studio, they hype up the WrestleMania Triple Threat United States Championship matchup before throwing it to, Pretty Deadly versus Orton and Owens for next week's SmackDown, hyping up that match for next Friday's show. We hear from Pretty Deadly backstage here on the show, and they mention that, they don't have what they do, talking about Orton and Owens and how they don't have the synergy that they do, they don't have the looks that they do, they also don't have the hand sanitizer that Pretty Deadly does, which I guess they have their own line of hand sanitizer, but they show that off, mentioning that next week on the show, they're going to have to get their hands dirty when they battle Orton and Owens in tag team action. Back in the studio, Stanford questions if Orton and Owens can coexist before the Triple Threat United States Championship match at WrestleMania. They replay the final few minutes of the final show segment with Cody and Roman going to face before hyping the WrestleMania Night 1 Tag Team main event and Cody versus Roman on Night 2 for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Pretty standard show here. It was nice to hear from the Profits, Pretty Deadly, Bianca Belair, all hyping their matches for next week. So I thought this episode did a pretty effective job of setting the stage not only for WrestleMania, but also next week's SmackDown at Mohegan Sun, which, like I said earlier, I will be in attendance for next Friday night, which I'm looking forward to. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.